Yesterday, I told you a story about how hail is formed. Today, we're going to read a story out of our big book about weather. This is the front cover, the back cover, and the title. The title of this book is What's the Weather? And this is the spine. Now remember, this big book is special because it doesn't just have one story, it has a whole bunch of different stories. And when I open it up, I see the title page. That's just to remind you of the title in case you forgot. And when I turn the page again, I see a special place called the Table of Contents. The Table of Contents tells you where to find things. Our story today is called Weather Measures. And when I move my finger across the page, I see that it's on page 6. So I'm going to turn to page 6 and there it is. Weather Measures. This is the title and the author. Remember, the author writes the words in the text. This book doesn't have an illustrator because it uses photographs instead of illustrations. Before we start, let's talk a little bit about the weather. Around the United States, there are different weather patterns. Some places have distinct seasons for winter, spring, summer, and fall. Some places do not. Each area of this country has different kinds of stormy weather. The scientists who study weather patterns are called meteorologists. Let's say that together. Me-T-or-all-lo-gists. Meteorologists. A meteorologist is a person that studies the weather. Our story today is an explanatory text, just like our story yesterday. Remember, an explanatory text is made up of some different parts. An explanatory text explains something to people and gives them information to tell how or why. It also uses facts in the explanation, and these facts can be checked through other sources. Before we start, we're going to do a picture walk. While we're doing our picture walk today, I want you to look at the pictures and make some observations. What do you see? Do any of the tools look familiar? What types of weather have you seen before? Who is measuring the weather and why? All right, friends, let's do our picture walk. And that's the end of our book. Now that we have previewed our book, let's get ready to read. The essential question I want you to think about as we read this story is, why is it important to study the weather? Our comprehension strategy for today is clarifying and asking and answering questions. Good readers ask questions to clarify if they are confused by an unknown word or phrase. They will stop and try to figure out its meaning. Good readers also reread or read again to clarify a sentence or paragraph that seems confusing so that they can better understand what they're reading. When we ask questions, it helps us understand what we're reading and it helps us pay attention to what we are reading as we look for answers. Good questions to ask are who, what, when, where, why, and how. All right, friends, let's read our story. And remember, when we read, we go from left to right and across the page and from top to bottom. This is the first word and the last word on this page. Essential question. Why is it important to study the weather? Weather Measures by Yvonne Morrison. It is important to know what the weather will be like. If it is going to be sunny, you need a hat. If it is going to be cold, you need a sweater. We can find out what the weather will be like by looking at a weather forecast. Weather forecasters use tools to measure the weather. They use this information to predict the weather. Now, What does the author mean by weather forecaster? I'm not sure, so I need to stop and clarify the meaning. I'm going to reread this paragraph. Oh, I see that a weather forecaster uses tools, so it must be a person. And as I read on, I see the weather forecasters use information to predict or to tell what will happen in the weather. I understand now. A weather forecaster is a person who tells us what the weather will be. In the past, people did not know how to measure the weather. They looked for signs of rain and wind. They looked for signs of cold weather. They saw that the rain was making puddles. They looked at the wind blowing in the trees. I have a question. Why did people not know how to measure the weather in the past? I do not know if I will find the answer to that question in this text, but I will look for an answer as I read. Later, people used tools to measure the weather. Then they could see how much rain or snow there had been. They could see how strong the wind was. Well, here's an answer to my question. It says, later, people used tools to measure the weather. So people must need the tools to measure the weather. People in the past did not have these tools. Wind is air that moves from one place to another. A light wind is called a breeze. Strong winds are called gales. Very strong winds can pull up trees. They can blow roofs from houses. It is important to know how strong the wind is going to be. People use tools to measure the wind. To show where the wind is coming from, people use a weather vane. I know that asking questions as I read helps me think about the text. After reading pages 10 and 11, I have more questions. I wonder if there are other tools to measure weather. For example, is there a tool that measures how fast the wind is? Maybe I will learn about other tools as I read on. Water is an important part of the weather. It makes up rain and snow. It makes up clouds. Clouds are made of tiny drops of water or pieces of ice. Clouds can help forecasters predict what the weather will be like. A few fluffy clouds usually mean good weather. Heavy, dark clouds often bring rain. There are different kinds of rain. Light rain is sometimes called a drizzle. Heavy rain is called a downpour. When it rains, marks on a rain gauge show how much has fallen. Snow forms when tiny pieces of ice in a cloud stick together. They fall as a snowflake. People measure snowfall using a stick in the ground. The stick has marks on it. This shows how deep the snow is. I'm going to stop here and see if my questions have been answered. I did not read anything about a tool that measures how strong the wind is, but I did learn about some other tools that measure weather. I read that a rain gauge tells how much rain has fallen, and a marked stick can measure how deep the snow is. It is important to know how hot or cold the day is going to be. Temperature is how warm or cool the air is. People can measure the temperature. They use a tool called a thermometer. The number at the top of the red liquid tells the temperature. As I read, I continue to look for answers to my questions. Here is another tool that measures weather. A thermometer tells how warm or cool the air is. The sun warms the air, land, and water. Without the sun, it would be too cold for us to live on Earth. When the sun looks low in the sky, the temperature can feel cool. When the sun looks high in the sky, it can feel warm. Weather forecasters predict what the weather will be like. Then we can be ready for the day. They also give people warnings about bad weather. These warnings help keep people safe. Some bad storms occur more often in certain areas. Sometimes storms become very strong and turn into tornadoes, hurricanes, and blizzards. During storms, do not go outside. It is important to stay safe in dangerous weather. Good readers stop to clarify and try to figure out the meaning of unknown words. What does the word blizzards mean? I'm going to see if I can figure it out using what I have read, what I know, and the photographs. Blizzards is listed along with two other very strong storms I know, tornadoes and hurricanes. As I look at the pictures, I see a tornado in the upper left picture. And I know a hurricane is a bad storm with heavy rains and winds, so that matches the picture in the right. So the last picture on the bottom must show a blizzard. I see now that blizzards are strong winter storms with heavy snow. That sure was an informative story. I learned a lot about different tools used to measure weather. We did our picture walk, we made some observations, and we read the words on the page. Now, let's go back and check to see how we know that our story for today was an explanatory text. Remember, explanatory text explains things to people. It gives information to tell how or why. In this selection, it explained how and why forecasters study weather. It also uses facts in the explanation, and these facts can be checked somewhere else. This selection also used facts about the tools that we use to measure weather. And remember, stories can help us learn and understand new words. Let's see how this selection can help us deepen our understanding. The word weather means the condition of the air around us, just how the air around us feels. Let's see what could help us understand that. It is important to know what the weather will be like. If it is going to be sunny, you need a hat. If it is going to be cold, you need a sweater. Oh, I see. That helped me understand that the weather means the air around us because sunny and cold are used to describe kinds of weather. Let's look at another word. The word tools, well, it means more than one tool, but a tool is an object. A tool is an object specially made to help people do work. Let's see what helps us understand that. Weather forecasters use tools to measure the weather. They use this information to predict the weather. Oh, I see. The word tools is used to name objects that help weather forecasters do their work. And again, tools are made to help people do work. All right, let's look at another word. Let's see, the word information. That means knowledge or facts about something. Let's see. Oh, that was in the part we just read. They use this information to predict the weather. So they use the knowledge or facts to predict the weather. The information they've collected helps them make good predictions. All right, friends, let's look at another word. Let's look at the word measure. Now, the word measure means to find or show the amount or condition of something. We can measure our height, our weight. We can measure the temperature. There's a lot of different things we can measure. Let's see what helps us understand it in our story. Let's see. Later, people used tools to measure the weather. Then they could see how much rain or snow there had been. They could see how strong the wind was. Oh, I see. This helps me understand that measure is seeing the amount or how much because it then talks about how much rain or how much snow and how strong the wind is. Great job, friends. I had a lot of fun reading weather measures with you today. I can't wait to talk more about it in our pods. I'll see you later.